This is the same way I throw my cross here, and I'm pulling it back with my whole body. Because my body is what's turning for that kick, I want to bring my whole body back. Motivation eventually runs out. Inspiration comes from within yourself. Huh?
This little motherfucker. Hey, where'd your body go? You're up.
Where'd your body go, Naynay? What do you want to work on? Simple question.
I know.
That requires a simple answer.
I know.
What do you want to work on?
How about head movement?
Head movement?
Yeah.
Lame. I already did that.
Kicks?
Whatever you want. If you want to work head movement, we'll work head movement.
I'll do kicks. We can do kicks.
I'm already going to kill you. Kicks in the sense of round kicks, straight kicks? What about your kicks are you not comfortable with?
The fact that I don't really put my hands in front, like I don't really whip it. If that makes sense.
So the hand placement of the kicks?
Yeah, the hand placement.
Okay. Like that? Is there one kick that's stronger than the other? Or that you're more confident with? Rear round or front round?
I'm more confident with the rear round.
With the rear round? Okay. Let's start with that one since you want to focus, but we're going to get a little bit of head movement stuff. Hand placement and the rotation. Because I think that's the biggest part. Because your concern is getting punched as you get kicked, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to let's start with the hand placement. So it's just basically a shoulder roll. So you're going to just shoulder roll off to either side. The opposite side that you're kicking with is the one that comes to your hands. So if we're working rear round kicks and I'm kicking with my right leg, my left hand comes up to my face. So I'm turning my body over and this has to be bent here. I don't want to keep this straight. If I am it's going to be a quick motion here, but I'm bringing that elbow back. I'm not slapping down here. The elbow comes down. Just so there's something always at my body. Okay, so the way we're going to work this, we're going to take away the focus on the kick, but we're not going to ignore the kick. I'm just going to step out as I would. My heel's going to be off the ground. I'm going to pick up my rear knee. I'm going to pivot, and then that's when I'm going to focus on my hand placement. As soon as this foot comes down, so I'll do it facing you, I step, bring this up, I'm going to pivot, and that's when this elbow comes back, shoulders up protecting my chin, and this hand's here as an added bonus. And then I'm just going to come up the same way that I got there. Step, up, pivot, this comes down, and I'm here. If you want to line up with one of these lines on the mats here, step, just so you can see that my foot's going into that center line just like our punches, but my head's a little bit off that center line. I'm not completely over here, but that punch is just going to graze by if they throw that punch. So one foot in on this side, one foot on the other, step, up, pivot, and I'm going to come back around.
Step out.
Yep. So see where your feet end up here? Get in a good solid stance there. Yep. With one foot in that square, the other foot in this square. You're going to step out to your angle. Lift that rear knee up. You're going to pivot right there. And a little bit more on the line here. Yep. That's going to be there. It's going to be here. About right here. Good.
And I want to land on that line.
When you're throwing the kick, yeah, because this is the center line. So this is, if you're kicking to the leg, to the body, or to the head, that's the one target. right? And just like when we're punching through the target, you want to be kicking through the target. So your foot's going to kind of represent where that kick lands. And we're putting it in that center line because you're kicking through the target, so your shin's going to end up here if you miss, right? You're aiming for the center of my body if you were kicking through the ribs, and you're aiming for my nose but going through my temple if you're kicking to the head. So that's why you want to end in that center line. Boom, yep. There you go. See, more of a step out. Even if you're not closing a lot of distance, just step out so you have space to turn your hips over. Because the more you turn your hips over, the more power you're going to have, and you're going to get your head off the center line more. There you go. Good. Do it looking right at my chest. I'm going to stand here. You're still going to aim for that same spot, but just look at my chest as you're doing it. There you go. Let your body memorize what you're doing. Three more. Two more. Last one. And time. Questions?
No.
All right, so I'm not much of a kicker. I hated kicking at the beginning. I'm still not a big fan of kicking. But this next drill that we're gonna do is what really helped me start understanding the kicks, because for me, it was throwing straight-legged kicks. Right, we're taking away our own power here. And the thing that really made it easy for me to start getting the kicks was to compare them to the punches. My front round kick was my jab, my rear round kick was my cross. And the same way, like I wouldn't just walk around here and step here to throw a punch. It starts here, and then my hips send it out, and I'm extending the elbow, and I'm popping it back. That makes sense to me on my hands. I just had to make sense of it with my feet. So when I'm kicking, it's the same thing. I'm not throwing just my hips with a straight leg there. Have that knee bent. My knee's my elbow. Elbow's bent, then it straightens out for that punch. Knee is bent, and then it straightens out for that kick. The coordination of that is what got me. So this drill really helped a lot. I think you've done it before. I know you've done it before. This is the one where you put all your weight on your front leg for me for right now. I'm going to step out exactly what you were just doing, but now we're actually going to have a target a little bit. I'm not aiming for your knee. I don't want to put my shin in your hip because that's building bad habits for me. I'm going to go right in the middle. If I take the two joints here, go directly in the middle, there's a nerve. And that's where those Charlie horses come in. So that's why I just one solid good kick. Now you're going to start limping because I got that nerve. So that's what I'm going to aim. I'm not kicking hard because I'm just working on the placement of it and the technique. So I step out, I lift that knee up just like we're doing. You're going to put all your weight kind of like a tabletop, and when I pivot, I'm not extending the leg yet, but I'm putting my shin right on the middle of your leg here. My heel comes to my butt, and then I'm going to extend that leg to come back to my stance. And what that's going to do, I don't have a bag out here, but that's going to be that snap that I'm looking for in my kick. It's just kind of, we're working a little bit backwards because you're actually making contact first, and then you're extending. When in reality, you're going to be extending as you make contact. But we're going to get those step by step. So you're going to be the only one that's working. I'm going to give you a good tabletop here. And we're going to start just a kick, and then we're going to make sure that your head's off the center line. But I want to make sure that you got the foundation of that kick first. Okay. Cool? Yeah. So we're going to be here. You're going to step out. Boom. So you kind of started off here. You want to pick that knee up. So 90 degrees here, 90 degrees here. Boom, turn, yep. Put all your weight on me. Boom, there you go. Good. Try to aim to hit with the middle of your shin. It feels like you're a little bit low by your ankle.
Yeah,
Yeah, you want to hit kind of right there. Step. There you go. Bring all your weight down on me so your heel comes very close to touching your butt. Boom, sit. There you go. And push. Good. 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 A little bit more. Wait, sit in it a little bit more. There you go. Yep, 5 more of those. Good, 4 more of those. 3 more. 2 more. Last one. Wrong. Time. Questions?
No.
Is it feeling better?
Yeah.
All right. Why don't you get your gloves on? We're gonna work the placement of it just for 2 minutes. So we're still gonna work your placement. So you're gonna go jab, cross, hook. You're gonna go jab, cross, hook, and then you're gonna do the drill. So you're gonna step, you're gonna sit, boom, out. Cool?
Yeah.
And then we're gonna add power to it before we get into anything. Okay? So you're gonna go jab, cross, hook, boom, yep, and then circle out. Yep, still step out with that front foot. Step. See how you're a little bit far?
Yeah. Yeah, I do have trouble stepping out too.
So aim for my rear foot. So let's do this next one slow. So we're gonna go jab, cross, hook, and then freeze right there. Take that step to almost step to the outside of my rear foot there, and then you're gonna go right to that leg, boom. There you go, boom. Okay. Better. Good. Nice. Now you're getting a little bit too high. Aim still for that middle of the leg. There you go. Less than 30. Step. There we go. Good. Step. Nice. One more. Good. One more. See how close I was with that timing? That close. How'd that feel? Yeah, you can.
Oh.
This isn't a podcast for kids. I don't know. We'll figure that out. Huh?
This little motherfucking leak. Leak.
How'd that feel?
Good.
Right. Before we add the power to it, we're gonna make sure that your head's moving. So we're gonna do the drill one more time, just with your legs, but you're gonna do it off my cross. So you're gonna stare at my chest. Once I throw that cross, that's when you move out and you throw that. All right? You got long legs, I got short stepping. So I'm gonna go right through here. That's when you take that step. You're gonna take that step to move your head out of the way, and you throw that kick right there. Okay?
Yeah.
Still put all your weight on it. Boom. Yep. Push off, circle out.
Okay.
Step, step, step. Step. Boom. There you go. Step. Step. Sit in it. Bring your hips down. Boom. Sit. There you go. Better. It's okay. Even if you mess up, you know you messed up. Don't let me know that you messed up. Okay. I know you messed up because we're training. Someone out there, someone that's less trained than you, will not know that you messed up. Okay. So just try to fight through it. Recover, and then come back right away. We're gonna be off balance. Kicks, you're naturally off balance because you're up on one foot. It's not about keeping your balance, it's about how well you can get back to your balance after you lose that balance. Right there, you're off balance, boom. Now try to find your balance as quickly as possible again. There you go. Good. Good. 5 more, just like that. 4 more. There you go. 3 more. 2 more. Last one, make it your best. Boom. Time. Got it?
Yes.
Questions? Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. All right. Let's add some power to it. So grab some water if you need water. You don't need your gloves. We're just going to work on the bag. This is in my basement before?
I think it's home.
Fudge.
You don't have any music playing in the background? Oh, you just see it? You like it?
Did you see this?
Huh. I wonder who's saying that shit. It's not me.
That means that's the part where you're going to have to kick. You're going to keep kicking that until the sweat from your shin wipes that off.
How's Lil Lee? That's
weren't you just weren't you just saying that you're Lil Lee?
Take those gloves off. They already had Lil Lee on them.
All right. So, same concept. We're just going to actually throw the kick now. You can still practice and warm up a little bit with a bag like this if you don't have a partner. Okay. You can still step out here, sit, and come around here. But now, legs are awesome, and strong legs are great for kicks, but it's still about that placement and the kick, because we're using our hips and our feet just like we do with our punches. If I stay here and try to kick from here, or just step up and try to kick from here, my hips aren't able to turn. So once I step out here, I'm staying safe from these punches, but now this hip has to catch up to this hip, because I'm not stepping with both feet on this one. I'm stepping out with one, and then my body is gonna be what brings this kick over. So I step, and I'm there. And I'm going right through here. So I step, lift, boom. Using my whole body to get there. Cool? Naturally, you're going to be off balance on one foot. So after I'm done with my kick, that's why when we're actually kicking with power, I'm trying to bring this down as quickly as possible and then coming back into my stance. Boom. Still take that step out. Boom. And let your shoulders turn into it and everything. So I'm here. That's where this kind of pull comes in. Boom. Yep. This hand goes across your face though, just like we were doing. Boom. Yep. Down and this way. Too far back when? When you're kicking?
Yeah.
Do another one? Nope.
No?
more. Last one. Oh, there we go. How's that feel?
Actually, I have a question.
Okay, go for it.
So when I land, I thought you always had to be balanced out.
So you want to try, and that's why we have our drills where we try to balance here. But it's just, it's natural to have less balance on one foot than on 2 feet. When I say you're going to lose your balance, I don't want you to kick and don't know where you're going. You want to try to have as much of balance as possible, but understand you're not going to be completely balanced because you're up on 1 foot. So as soon as you get what you want done, you want to try to find that balance on both feet again, as quickly as you can. Part of what I've seen with you is you used to come like real up, and your chin was up, your hands were down, and you were almost leaning back. Here, because of this drill, that we really got you to sit into it, it's translating into your kick now because you want to sit into it there. And I'm here, boom, I'm on the blade of my foot on this one, here, essentially. And then I pivot back. This is the same way I throw my cross here, and I'm pulling it back with my whole body. Because my body's what's turning for that kick, I want to bring my whole body back.
I did feel my foot actually pivot more.
Yeah.
So.
And that's going to cause you to have to use less energy to get more power. Because now your body's just doing it. And the way that we're stepping here, if you lose that opportunity to kick, you can pull yourself back and that person's not going to know that you went for that kick. So if I start fighting here, boom, 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 and I step and then I change my mind, I can just keep going. And you have no idea I was about to set up that kick. So I can try it again where I'm here, and now I throw that kick. As opposed to being here and then already stepping and turning here. Some places do that. Some people say you turn so that your hips are already coming over. But as soon as I do that, you know I'm throwing that kick. Yeah. So if you start trying to counter, if you start moving back and I'm out of position, whatever I did to set up that kick, now you recognize it. As opposed to me just fighting, boom, here, this could be a cross or this could be a kick. So that's when you start messing with them and it starts hiding what you're doing a little bit better.
Yeah, that answered my question.
Let's try that on the pads now. There we go. How'd that feel? Better?
I caught myself on a couple of.
Yeah, there's gonna be some. Now I was just getting the constant repetition of kicking like that. And like I said, it was just something I'm not 100% comfortable with. I throw them when I have to, just to not be predictable. But I'll never consider myself a heavy kicker. That round I did with you that one time, I hadn't sparred in a while. My timing was a little bit off. I felt tired cardio-wise. I went for the kicks because they were my longest range weapons. You got the height, so I just had to go low. But that's I think the round that I've thrown the most kicks in my life. But it's just being able to get into this kind of habit. And I was walking around my house forever with the heel-toe sway. And just even, if you want to get better at something and apply it better, it starts in your shadow box. And you just boom, 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 step, and then boom. Can't be lazy on the shadow boxing with the kicks. And I know it's difficult, and this can help you with a little bit of balance to throw it here. But because you're not landing on something, something's not stopping your momentum, it's got to come down some way. There's a lot of places that'll tell you to spin all the way around. People are looking at that to try to take your back. So that's why we kind of add an extra spinning back fist whenever we spin, or it's just a matter of just stopping it. Because that's controlling your kick as much as possible. Because yeah, you want to have power. Just like we want to have power with our crosses, but that doesn't mean I'm just going to throw it. And if I miss, I'm just going to spin out of control. Same, I was comfortable with punching. So I had to find the concepts that made my striking comfortable and apply them to my kicks. And if I'm not throwing my cross and if I miss that cross, I'm staying here, and I'm pulling it back, it's gotta be the same thing with the kicks. So that's where I just started shadow boxing here. I know I'm missing the kick every time, but that's where we start getting those side kicks and all that fun stuff from there. So just throw it in your shadow box. And just whenever you want, just knee comes up, like I said earlier, 90 degrees here, 90 degrees here. As much as you can to pivot. This elbow kind of pulls back, and then I come back all the way around. Just to help with that balance here, and balance as in your physical balance, but just balance in the repetitions of things. Turning this way, but I also want to turn this way. So it's like if I start working here, I'm working there. The front round kick is the same thing as the rear round kick. Step, 90 degrees, pivot, stop, come back up. Just now my other hand's coming there. I like the rear round kick better when it comes to like actual technique and working it. It's a little bit harder with that front round kick to work the drill that we did. So if you want to work your other leg, work it on the rear so you can sit your weight in it. Because that's the biggest thing that people have with kicks, I think. You're too extended, and that's where they get caught.
Yeah, that's right.
Any other questions with the rear round kick? All right. Good shit. Now the fun stuff begins.